Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog, and welcome to this week's Pick 5. And the market continues to move along. We are the 14th of November. My goodness, I can't believe how quickly this month has gone. I had 23 offers on a condo listing the other night. $499 list, value $575, sold for $625. So that's still happening. My buyers for houses, they're still competing in multiples. I sold one the other night to a buyer. There were 4 offers and they got it. Listed $1,170,000, they bid $1,350,000. Those guys had previously bid on a house that was listed at $1,075,000 and they bid $1,200,000, and it sold for $1,260,000. So there were 9 offers on that one. Now that's just one client. Things are moving. They really, really are. And yet I continue to hear people talk about the market being flat. I'm not seeing the market being flat. I work with condos and houses. I work with buyers and sellers. I work low end and high end. I see things moving. The only place I don't see things moving is outside of the core. Now, that's not the reason I'm doing today's video. That was just the preamble, the dance, if you will. The reason I'm doing today's video is because I have somebody new on my team. His name is Matthew. And he was sitting over here on the couch, just diligently working on his laptop. This is kind of like the millennial thing. They just like walk in and sit on your couch. Although, to be honest, the person editing this right now, who's watching the words come out of my mouth as I'm editing, also loves to do that. People just come into my office and they just kind of like sit down and start working. It's that old like Google like, oh man, I think I'm gonna go play ping pong for a bit, and then I'm gonna sit on this exercise ball and do my job. God, I sound old. Anyway, so he was sitting here leaning over my shoulder like, what are you doing your pick 5 on today? I was like, I don't know. Why don't you do something you've never done before? I was like, why don't you just shut up? And then it got me thinking, what have I never done before? And I actually racked my brain and I tried to think about it. And I came up with this idea, and I think it's so cool. We're gonna go on a train ride, right? You ready? You wanna go on a train ride with me? No? Okay. We're gonna go on a train ride along the GO train. We're gonna go outside the city, and we're gonna look at condos that are on GO train routes. So let's take a look at the map here, and this is perfect. By the way, it's not a pick 5 today, it's like a pick 10, but we're gonna go through them quicker. So let's zoom in here. You know what, I don't know if I can. This is beautiful. This is effing beautiful. I do that a lot now because I have a daughter who's 3, so my wife and I will be talking and I'll be like, oh my god, today at the office so-and-so scared the S-H-I-T out of me. You don't say the word, you just spell it, because your daughter's, your kid, they're doing one of these. Ready? They're always listening. They've got those eyes. They're fixated. They're always listening. Can I tell you a story about my daughter, please? She's so empathetic. It's unbelievable. The other day I was down in the basement and I was trying to put stuff on these storage racks, and the grate fell through the rack itself, and I yelled, F! And she said, what's wrong, Daddy? And I was like, this stupid thing. And she said, Daddy, you stay here. I'll go get my tools. And she did. She went upstairs. I could hear her little feet pitter patter. She came down with a ruler, a measuring tape, and a level. And then, that was really loud. And then this morning, I stubbed my toe, and she said, Daddy, you sit here. I'll go get my doctor stuff. And let me put up a picture. That is literally what she did. Okay? She listened to my toe. Anyways, right, that was a tangent, but there are a lot of those here on Pick 5. So I believe my point was something to the effect of, I don't remember. So the GO train track I want to take you on today basically goes outside of the city and then continues all the way to Burlington. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condos. And I think this is going to be really fun because I want to look at some of the price per square foot, the ages of the buildings, and then, God, this is loud, the locations of said units. Okay, you guys ready? I'm just zooming out here, so I don't know why you need to see where Niagara Falls on the map, but let's say we're here in Toronto, right? And when we see this bend, we know that we're getting outside of the downtown core. So I had honestly thought about maybe, I'll zoom in here too, there you go, Mimico. I thought about doing some units in here. No, not really. I thought about doing some units in here. No, what I want to do is I want to start here. So this is Port Credit, and Port Credit is hot. Port Credit is where my clients started moving years ago, when you could get a house out here in Port Credit. Port Credit is like the newer, cooler Oakville, right? If that makes sense. So many people moved to Port Credit. The downtown investment bankers said, I want to sell my crappy 1-bedroom condo and I want a big house for $500,000, right? When you could still do that. Port Credit got expensive. I started I think I sold one home in Port Credit before I started getting clients that were like, well, I can't afford Port Credit, so now I'm going to go into the Clarkson area. Now I'm going to go to Mineola, Lakeview, out in there. So let's start here with Port Credit, and we'll take a look at a newer building. So this is 8 Ann Street. Now this is a brand new building. See this corp number? This building has not been registered yet. But what we've got here for $749,000 is a 2-bed, den, 2-bath, and this thing is 925 square feet, 113 square foot terrace. So someone's submitting a bully offer on one of my listings. So this is, hold on, where are we? I feel like I'm 100 years old right now looking at all these different sheets of paper. This is $810 a square foot. So $810 a square foot, and this was reduced from $799. So you see this a lot with new buildings where people are trying to get their profits out. They start up here and they eventually come down. So let's take a look at the floor plan, because thank goodness with new condos we actually get floor plans. It's not a split bedroom plan, but I will say that because the bathroom is on the other side of the bedroom, you don't have like the 2 beds bumping up against the sheet of drywall, and you can hear people bumping up against each other. That's the problem, of course, with bedroom plans that aren't split, but this is indeed a thicker wall. This looks like a concrete wall. These would be freestanding. So this is what they refer to as the den. It's a work area. And then I love this, the great room. That's what we call a kitchen that has no island or separation whatsoever from your couch or your dining room table. So when you're sitting on the couch, you can reach over and you can stir your craft dinner on the stove. All jokes aside, it's 925 square feet. It's actually a pretty good space. It's a pretty good layout. The one thing I will say is windows, right? Little guy here, 2 little guys here, little guy here, little guy here, and then yes, you do have this. This entire wall has no window. The master bedroom has only these 2 windows, and it sucks because you would expect in a newer building for this to all be glass. Now, the reason I bring this up is because you'd expect all these units should have some sort of view of the water, right? That's what people love living down south, whether it's in Mimico, whether it's in Tobico, whether it's in Port Credit. You're only on the 3rd floor, so you're probably looking over the garbage. But anyways, I would have liked to see more windows. So anyways, this is 810 square feet, 810 per square. And then the other unit I wanted to show you is this guy here at One Huron, Ontario. No, sorry, I'm wrong. It's tough when I do it in this order. Same building. So what we've got here is $810 a square feet for the 3rd floor. Now we go up to the 9th floor, and don't be confused, it's the O1 model, but it is a different layout. I'll show you the floor plan first. So it's a much, much bigger unit. We've got master here and 2nd bed here, right? So it is a split plan. Here they show the great room, but they've got this separation. This is what you really need. So picture the other one. Follow my mouse here. This is going to be really tricky. I don't know if it's going to work. I feel like the other living space was like this, right? And it just felt like your dining and living was in your kitchen. This is a real great room. But again, the price is several $100,000 higher. So you do have this little den over here, which is a real den. Think back to the workspace that I just showed you. Again, not a ton of window, right? That's what's wild about this one. You do have a window over here, but I found like no window in here. That's why it's a den and not a bedroom. I found these to be lacking in windows. So $1,089,000, 2-bed plus 1 2-bath, with 1,310 square feet. So this is $832 a square. The maintenance fees, extremely low. If you notice, $695 out of $1,310, I'm going to say that is roughly 7.55 cents a square foot. Let's just check that, just in case. Let me get out the old Dollarama here, guys. So $695, which I assume between me and you is probably estimated. 53 cents a square. I was only off by 2 cents. Math, me good. So this again is something that somebody is trying to sell to take their profit out. I would assume this was bought in pre-construction. And now let's go to Huron, Ontario. So this is another building. I'm going to show you exactly where this is on the map. So within Port Credit proper, right? This is the Port Credit Go. And this is the section, right here, Ontario, a little bit, I was going to say west. This would be southwest versus northeast. This is the main drag, right? This is where all the fun stuff is. Your location is absolutely unbelievable, and you're like a 2-minute walk to Port Credit. So, Port Credit Go. So this building is a little bit older, and you can tell in the price because this is $780 a square foot. $780 a square foot, 19 days in the market. So we have a 2-bed, 2-bath, $975,000. And again, I would have loved to find you all units that were 800 square feet. They're, just to compare apples to apples, there's not a ton of them. But we're $780 a square. So the new buildings, you've got $832 a square, $810 a square. Old building, you've got $780 a square. So there's a little bit of a discount, and I'll show you that location after. But you tell me if you think, Oh my God, did I even show you photos of the other ones? I'll go back, I promise. I have 10 listings to get through, right? So again, you can see the age of this, right? Is this a granite countertop? Yes, it's like a basic granite. Same with the appliance package. Same with these cabinets. We're gonna go back and look at photos of the other one. The great room, right? Now it is a split plan, and I'll show you the floor plan in a minute. Weird to have a pillar here. But you can see the age of this a little bit. You can start to feel, it just feels maybe like it's starting to push 10 years, right? And you've got a water view, and as I said, this is the main drag, so the location is really, really good, right? You've got broadloom in the bedrooms. Okay, good size, but finishes aren't fantastic, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at. Whereas if we go back to Anne here, right? There's only a couple photos. This is way more modern, right? The colors for one thing, the materials for another, it's way, way more modern. So we'll take a look back at that first one on Anne. This one has more photos. And again, this one's actually lived in, so you can get a sense of it. Very cluttered, I will say, and doesn't show very well. Okay, but like, this is what I mean, right? This is more modern, this is more modern. Even the faucet's new modern. The photos suck and it's very lived in. It's probably tenanted. But, you know, shower, right? More modern colors. Awful photos. So there's a good shot. This is what I mean by the great room, right? Like, this is your dining room table, and how close are you? This is your couch, and you literally can almost stir your craft dinner, right? That is newer. We can all admit that this is newer, and this is $810 a square. The other one was $832 a square in the building. And then you go in here, right? And this is what you've got. So I guess you'd have to decide, location-wise, let's just go back to this one for a minute, and we're gonna check the map. A lot of clicking around. You know, I said this is a better location. I'm really splitting hairs here. How much better an location? Marginal, right? You're off Hurontario, and your steps right here to Lakeshore. This one's another block or so. So I mean, I think I personally would probably rather have the newer if there's a marginal difference. But I would also expect a bigger drop in price, right? $810 and $832 a square for new construction. You know, you're $780 a square. The older one, you're $780 a square. Okay, so let's continue along our train ride. Chugga 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 chugga. No, Thomas the Train. That's pretty creepy, right? Thomas the Train. Just the concept of it. My daughter watches Chuggington. Chuggington. Chugga 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 chuggington. This is what she does every night. I'm the worst parent. She gets 10 minutes of TV after bath and before bed. And then there's a new one, Teo the Train. Like these talking trains, man. Maya, trains don't talk. I need her to get that. Okay, so let's move along. God, I'm a dad. From Port Credit, now we're going to continue, and we are going to go further along into Park Royale, Clarkson. Southdown. So we'll start over here. Now this one obviously is not right on the GO train line, but is the closest that I could find. And I want to continue with this concept of price per square foot and where the value is. So beautiful unit, right? Great shot here. Nice photos. I will say whoever did this, whoever listed this, $849.9, 21 days in the market, right? That's the theme over and over. 2-bed, 2-bath. 1097 square feet. We are right for it, $775 a square. $775 a square, and this building is only a couple years old. Now note this is really wild. See this? 12.5-foot ceilings. Where in the world are you going to find 12.5-foot ceilings in a condo? This is massive. So with the concept of that great room, it sure as hell feels a lot greater when you have 12.5-foot ceilings instead of 8-foot. So it could literally be the same size square footage wise, but if cubic footage is bigger, no, too far cubic footage, mind blown, I think it gives it that greater feeling. Look outside, I see treetops. Really, really nicely done unit. I like the materials in here. I like the layout in here. The big windows. This is what was missing, right? This is exactly what was missing. That one I showed you in Port Credit on Anne. I don't understand how they're getting the prices that they do. So yes, you're in a complex and you're a little bit closer over here, but you've got a real dining, real living. You've got the separation here between the kitchen and the rest of the living space. And this thing's $775 a square. Great price, great unit. But again, $849.9. So the whole idea here behind this video, guys, was I want to show people, I guess this is the den, I want to show people when you go outside the core, and people used to go outside the core to get relief for houses. If you said, well, look, I want 1,100 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath, and I can't afford it downtown, so let me go outside the core, you're still paying $775 a square for this place. Now, maybe you're paying less than that because you can negotiate. It's been on the market 21 days. It's actually listed by a Sage agent that works around the corner at Yonge and Davisville. So go figure, right? It's almost like Toronto has just expanded into the burbs a little bit. So I like this unit a lot. You know, obviously you don't have 12.5-foot ceilings in here. Smaller window here, so I guess people can't see you in bed doing what you know you're doing, which is reading a book. And then, so here you go, little outdoor space, right? I guess this is a pee pad for the dog. No, that's an attempt at staging. Okay, gotcha. All right, I think we've seen enough of this one. MLS is pissing me off. It's really slow. Look at this crap. All right, so let's move on. So that is 1575 Lakeshore. And we go back to the results, back to the map. And the next one I want to look at, obviously, is, oh, come on, help me here. This is on 1055 Southdown. So you can see the location. Unbelievable location here to Clarkson. Now, where did Pete and Jeff live? Oh, somewhere around here somewhere. Pete and Jeff live so close. I wonder if they should hang out, right? I won't give away their addresses. Or middle names. Okay, so 1055 Southdown. So this is a little bit older. This is an 8-year-old building. So here we're at $599.9, only 7 days in the market. There's no holdbacks out here. That doesn't really happen in this area. But this is 878 square feet. Are you ready for this? Mind blown. 683 a square. I think I was doing it on this side. 683 a square foot. So $599, 878 square feet, and oh yeah, there's 2 parking spaces. This is where you start to see value. This is where you start to see price relief. Now, the unit itself is somewhere between the 2 that I'd shown you. Something as small as this, right? The diagonal laminate. Does that not do it for you? I think it does it for me. And hello, GO train in the background. I can see the train. I can run there. I can run there and get there. Remember when you used to live close to school? My friend Will Alsop used to live on Sharon right across from Besborough. He could hear the bell and then he would just cross the street. Wild, right? I had to walk 8 minutes. First world problems. So their furniture sucks and is ugly as hell, but this is a corner unit and it has floor-to-ceiling glass. And here you can see that this shows its age. A little bit older with this kind of closed-in shorter chef kitchen. You're also looking at another building. But the layout's great. It works. This is a cool feature on the wall. Kind of goes with this decor they've got going on here. I can't get over the diagonal flooring. That's so cool. So now we see broadloom. We see it's a little bit older, right? I feel like in areas outside the city, when the rest of downtown was saying, okay, we need to make hardwood standard, not an upgrade from broadloom, and we need to do countertops that are at least granite, not melamine or laminate. Areas outside the city, let's say this building's 7 or 8 years old, they weren't doing that automatically back then. You had to pay for it, which some investors didn't. So huge, huge bedroom for a condo. And I can't get over 683 square feet. 683 per square foot, right? Separate shower and tub, right? This feels like a galley, but remember, it's not. Shorter chef has a situation happening here. You could open that if you really wanted to. Don't love that light, that's fine. It's $599,000 for a 2-bed, 2-bath. So you really, really see the value when you go out this way. And yeah, I mean, where are you? Are you like buried here? Like this is the parking lot for the GO train. You've got a little bit of trees here, so you're not staring at another building. But it's busy, right? It's busy, I'll give it that. Here's a little, what is this river? My buddy Alec lived in Oakville, and we did the football draft at his house in 2010, his apartment. There was a heat wave, he was on the water, he had no air conditioner, and because it was a guy's football draft, he was using the barbecue, the oven, and the stove all at the same time. And I felt like this river, I don't know the name of it, but it made me think of this story and go off on yet another tangent. This river did not help with the muggy feeling of 10 guys in an apartment and every single heating appliance on and all that heat just being thrown back in your face in the form of, I don't know, what is that, condensation, sweat, etc. And then my friend Scott came in wearing long sleeve shirts and pants and said, whew, it's a little warm in here. Anyways, we were literally all naked and sweaty and hairy by the end of that. Cool story, David. So let's move on from that and from that weird story that I told. None of that's true, right? All right, now we're going to go. This is cool. You ready for this? It zooms out every time. We're going to go to Oakville. We're going to Oakville. Okay. So you know what? Let me just go. I want to show you one more time in case you didn't catch it, where this is. So this was facing this little river here, Sheridan Creek, of course. And this was facing north, which is why you got those trees. But it was also facing south down. It was a corner unit, so it's a little busy. But I kind of like overlooking the trees and the water. And then you're that close to the GO, right? Here was the parking lot, and you're pretty close to Lakeshore too. So I can't get over that $683 a square foot. Wow. Okay, so let's go to Oakville. And the best part of Oakville is probably in here, right? This is like Oakville proper. All the clients I have that want to buy in Oakville end up wanting to end up in here. I don't know if that made any sense. No, you know what? It was 16 Mile Creek. That's where Alec was. It wasn't the, whatever I just said, Sheridan Creek. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a couple units here. I believe there are 2 of them in the Spears building. So again, newer building here. It's less than 5 years old. And here we've got a 2-bed, 2-bath for $549,900. So Oakville's expensive, right? Hey, I'm just saying, $549,900. That's not too shabby. So this, believe it or not, is $763 a square. $763 a square. Where were we before? Southdown, $683 a square. Prime Oakville, $683 a square. Sorry, $763 a square. Not too shabby. So this is south facing from the 14th floor. And you can see by the style of the building, these things are obviously newer. I want to get a shot of the view because I want to show you. So here's the den they've turned into a dining area. That's kind of cool. Everything's a little bit smaller, right? Because this thing is 720 square feet. So probably don't have the right furniture for this space, but so be it. You're not buying their furniture. And again, open concept, right? Bedroom here with a sliding door. So it's that kind of new age. And then again, wow, really small, really small. This feels like a downtown condo, right? And this is the issue in Oakville with new construction is you're basically, how in the world did they get that photo? To finish that thought, you're basically getting the same idea, right? Which is miniaturize everything. So here you can see it says south facing. I mean, yeah, I guess if you crane your neck, but you do have a decent view. I would imagine on the other side of this is another building staring in your face, which is why they got creative. And here you can see the beautiful, whatever this is, plant. You can see the CN Tower. Nice day. Not too bad, right? So they're obviously selling this with the photos. This is a weird, I don't know, this is getting weird. I'm getting out of here. So they're obviously selling this with the photos of things like the view. The price per square foot, I think, speaks for itself. It's been on the market 14 days. But again, workable, right? Everything in that area is workable. So let me continue on here, guys, because we have a lot to look at. So here you get into the bigger units, right? So I showed you one in 55 Spears. This is one in 65 Spears. There's 2 towers. Think of it like 55 and 65 Bremner. Wow, same 55 and 65. Mind blown. $679,900 for a 2-bed plus 1 2-bath. This is coming in at 980 square feet. It's $694 a square. So last one was $763. This is $694. The higher the price, the higher the square footage, the lower the price per square foot. So there aren't a lot of photos of this one. Again, if you're going to do this with a listing, you might as well have absolutely no photos. Maybe you could do one. Again, a little bit newer, a little bit better, and smaller, I will say. Feels more like downtown. So there's a beautiful view of the parking lot, right? They're really trying to show you that you can see the water, but you really, really got to stretch for it. So not bad, all told, at $694 a square foot in Oakville. Okay, let's keep going with the Chuggington. Choo-choo. I gotta get home in time to watch Teo the train with my daughter. Okay, so now we are what? We're in Bronte. Where are we? Are we in Burlington? No, we're not really in Burlington. We're just at the next GO train station. So we go from here and down to here, okay? We are across the other side of the QEW, but that's the only place where I could find a slightly newer unit. So we are in Burlington, we're just not in Burlington proper, or better area of Burlington. But here we get, wow, $479,000 for a 2-bed, 2-bath. Are you kidding me? This, folks, is $529 a square foot. I remember when condos in Toronto used to be $529 a square foot. Those were the days. So this is actually a pretty darn good deal, I gotta say. $479,000. You have 2 parking spaces. You have 2 parking spaces. This thing is, how many square feet was this? 906 square feet. It's just wild, right? It's just wild. But again, you look, melamine countertop. There's no undermount sink. The appliances are black. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But, right, newer building. Can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong with this. Are we gonna see any photos of the inside of the unit? No? It's probably tenanted. No, it's owner occupied. They're just terrible at their job. Holy crap. Oh, okay, so this is the 2nd bedroom with a dresser and a TV on it. Got it. I mean, who wants to see the inside of the unit anyways, right? That's like going out on a date with someone before you marry them. So that is the unit. There wasn't much to say about this one, to be honest, because there's only a couple of photos. But again, right, $479, 2 parking spaces, 906 square feet, $529 a square foot. And just to hammer this point home, wow, that really zoomed in. Holy moly. You have to cross the QEW to get to the GO train. But what are we talking here? A 10-minute walk? That's as close as I could get. Okay, last but not least, I am going to take you right into Burlington. So let's regroup. We were in Port Credit, and then we were in the Southdown Clarkson area. Then we went to Oakville. Then we ended up in the Appleby area, which is, it says it's Burlington. It's not Prime Burlington. Now, hello, George. We are in Prime Burlington. This is on Fairview. This is 90 seconds. This is a Usain Bolt 100-meter to the Burlington GO. And this is in a pretty good spot of Burlington. I haven't been there in a while. I think the last time I went, I was at Emma's back porch, Emma's patio, whatever. Lindsay would remember that. That's my brother's wife. She grew up in Burlington, and I found myself there many times. There's no cabs in Burlington, right? Lindsay's mother used to come and pick us up. There came Ingrid at 2:30 in the morning, driving like the van. Oh, are you guys finished partying now? That's my impression. I didn't understand. There's no cabs. Burlington Central High. That sounds like right out of a movie. So where is Emma's? God, and now I'm curious. Does it even still exist? Yeah, they had a back patio. Was that what's called Emma's back patio, or am I just thinking that they had a back patio? As you can see, my ADD is kicking in. Okay, so this is on Fairview, as I said. So here, guys, we've got a $549 2-bed, 2-bath. And this thing as a price per square foot is $655. So it's interesting. The Appleby one was $529 a square foot. It was north of the QEW. So not right on the GO train line, which is kind of what we want. Burlington's further from downtown. The assumption in this Pick 5, obviously, in case you hasn't noticed, is that everyone wants to own real estate that is next to the GO station to be able to go downtown. But yeah, I mean, this location is prime, in prime Burlington. If you wanted to live in Burlington, it's $549. It's been on the market for 34 days. You could probably pull this thing for, I don't know, a little over 500. 525, I'd say 525. So at $655 per square foot, amazing value and newer building again, right? So we'll take a look at the photos, and this is going to feel like every downtown newer condo. MLS is really slow right now. There you go. I feel like I've been in this thing 1,000 times before. It's a decent layout. It's got the kind of peninsula kitchen, right? It's long, so maybe there's no window on this side. It might be a little dark, would be the critique. But you've got room for real living and dining, and you have 2 full bedrooms. Everything is newer, right? Fairly decent upgrades. Nothing to complain about here. 837 square feet, $655 a square foot, literally steps to the GO train. And it's interesting to see how, as you go further out of the city, that's a big bedroom, right? It always feels in these places like you're always looking at a parking lot or a main road and a Walmart. But as you go out of the city, right, the prices get a little bit cheaper. And then you kind of decide, well, how far out of the city do I want to be? Staring at a parking lot, what are you going to do? So let's go back to the map here, guys. Oops, that's going to bring me, go back to the map here, and we'll kind of regroup. So, Burlington is a ways out of the downtown core. But for people that, and I know so many people are moving closer to family, not to stereotype, and as somebody that's having a child in 3 months, you talk about like the help from the family. But so many people in Toronto are so busy, and they're so busy, and they need help with kids. And for those of you that are older, you're like, I can't believe you're bitching about help with kids. My mother raised 3 kids on her own, 2 years apart, while my dad got home at 11 o'clock every night in the 80s because he was a lawyer. I have trouble putting my daughter to bed. How am I going to put 2 kids to bed? How would my mother put, my sister was 4, I was 2, and my brother was a newborn. How do you do that? I have absolutely no idea. I can't even imagine. Like, what do you do with your 2-year-old? Where is your newborn? Right? So tell me that we're complaining, and I'll agree. But for people that want to move closer to family, closer to help, my mother-in-law or my dad's retired or whatever, so many people are moving back to Oakville, back to Burlington, back to Mississauga. So if you ended up saying, you know what, I can't afford much in downtown, we've got a 2-bed, 2-bath condo for $549 that you can get for $525 in prime Burlington that is steps to the GO train. So if you live downtown and you're renting and you can't afford anything, you could pick this thing up for $525, which gets you a 480 square foot unit, 1 bed, 1 bath, no parking, no locker in Liberty Village. Then you've got in here an Appleby, right? Not the best spot. It's the only one I could find. Downtown Oakville, sub $700 a square foot. In here at the Clarkson area, you know what? You're still doing pretty good in the high 6s. Into Port Credit, where it's $800 a square. Port Credit's a cool area. There's a lot of people that have moved out of downtown that have gone there. And how far is the GO train? What? Like 16-minute express train in the morning? So anyways, guys, there you go. That is it for today. That was actually a pick 9. Thanks for putting up with all of my tangents. I went off on a lot of them this morning. But you know what? I'm in a good mood for some odd reason. I feel like things are starting, knock on wood, starting to slow down to the point where we can start thinking about maybe considering the possibility of eventually time off. That and I don't know, the snow outside, and my kid was like talking about building a snowman and wants to write a letter to Santa. I just thought it was so cool. Combine that with a lot of coffee too, and that's what you get in pick 5. So I hope you enjoyed my stories because I always have fun telling them, even if they are a little bit weird, but it adds a little bit of context to the insane life of a real estate agent. No, a little bit of context to the areas that we're looking at, right? And I think that for a lot of us that grew up in Toronto, yes, you're in Toronto, but you have friends that are all over Southern Ontario. And as you take this GO train out of the city, you start to realize you're really not that far out. Not everyone has to live in the downtown core. And as I've shown you today, the prices incentivize some folks to in fact move out of it. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.